Hi, I'm Jeremy Nicholas and I want to talk to you today about nerves when you're doing public speaking. I still get nervous every time I do a new talk or I speak at a new venue, new situation. For example, this summer I was lucky enough to do a gig at Wembley Stadium for the first time, and I'd always wanted to do Wembley Stadium. I'd done the big grounds like Twickenham and Millennium Stadium, and of course West Ham's home ground, the Bowling Ground, but I'd never done Wembley Stadium and I was a bit nervous about that. I still get nervous if it's a new after dinner talk I haven't given before. I still get nervous if I'm in a live TV situation and I'm interviewing someone and I think they might be a little bit tricky. But in general, I get nervous only beforehand if it's new material that I don't know and I think, oh, I might lose my way with that. So what I do is I have all of my material on these little flip cards. So after I've written my speech, I then condense it down to a few bullet points on index cards, learn it like that, walk the dog, make sure that I've got it in my head, and then I just have it all on these little cards like here. So this is a story about a chocolate factory. This is a story about someone I work with on radio. This is a story about Jeremy Nicholas. This is Jesus and the machine gun. All these little stories here which make up parts of my after dinner or some of my keynote speeches. Those are my keynotes on there. These are my after dinners on there. You can see roughly how my business pans out, about twice as much keynotes as there is after dinner. And then literally just before I go on, half an hour, I'll perhaps take myself off to the loo and just sit there in the hotel, wherever, and just go, right, yeah, I know that. Just check that I've got it all in my mind and I know where the laughs are, where the serious bits are. And so these are almost like rosary beads. I literally flip them through. I know all that stuff. I know it. But I always have that in my pocket just in case. I never ever get it out. But it's there because just in case I think, oh, I can't even remember my own name. Oh, in my pocket. Oh, yeah. So that's the only thing I worry about is forgetting stuff. Because I've done a lot of live TV and live radio over the years, it doesn't really worry me talking to an audience. However, whenever I do a new gig, I do get nervous. Now, when I get nervous, and it's beforehand, once I'm on stage, I'm fine. I don't shake when I'm on stage. But beforehand, I might need to go to the loo quite a bit. So I always carry some Boots diarrhea tablets, or diaries, or Imodium, whatever it's called in your part of the world, just to take the pressure off so that my tummy might let me down, but I know that Boots diarrhea tablets never will. And my dad worked for Boots all his life, so that's why I'm loyal to that brand. And I've done quite a few corporate gigs for Boots the Chemist in Nottingham. I've hosted their bonfire night many years, so that's good. Another thing that I always carry with me is Vocal Zone tablets. Actually, these ones are called Homeovox, but you can get a dry throat if you get a little bit of the nerves, and it just keeps your throat nice and loosened up. I never really get the dry throat, but I always worried that I will. And when I used to be on radio, particularly when I did the afternoon show on BBC London, right at the start, just a little bit of tension. You know, the news would finish, and I'm fading up the music, say, "Hello, I'm Jeremy Nicholas." Well, to start with, I'd say, "Good afternoon, I'm Jeremy Nicholas," and just the nerves on the R of afternoon, I'd say, "Good afternoon, I'm Jeremy," and my voice would go very high. Even though at the time I was probably about 35, I'd say, "Good afternoon," and it would go up on up. So I always make sure that I have a drink with me. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I always make sure I have a bottle of water with me, just to keep the throat nice and lubricated, because if you do get in a coughing fit on stage, there's nothing worse. So I just always have one of these, have it tucked away by the lectern, just to keep your throat nice and lubricated. And you did see the bottle of Famous Grouse whiskey. Other brands are available, but this is one I drink if they'd want to send me any. And sometimes just having a quick tot of whiskey or wine or whatever your drink is before you go on can be a good idea if you're the sort of person that does worry and it just loosens your tongue up a bit. However, I don't actually do that. I like a glass when I've come off stage, but I just think alcohol in general makes you think you're performing better, but in general your actual performance is getting worse. And it's a bit like, I haven't even had any yet. I'll have one in a minute. But your tongue can get and it go all over the place. So in general, don't have any alcohol. Save it for afterwards to celebrate with your mates when you've done a good talk. So that's it. Good news is if you do get nervous, don't worry. Everyone gets nervous. The few people who don't get nervous probably either don't fully understand the situation or they're not giving it their all, because the real performers, the real artists in any field, care about their art, they get so passionate about it that they do get nervous, and it's exactly the same with public speaking, with professional speaking. I hope that's been useful. Quite a few people had emailed me saying, could I do something about nerves? So what are we now? I've had 8 days in February. There's another 20 videos to go, so if you have ideas to fill those other 20 videos with questions, and I've got quite a few that people have emailed already, so do get them in, gem@jeremynicholas.co.uk, and I'll see you again tomorrow.